Welcome to Camp Chaos, where we celebrate the wild ride of modern womanhood.
Join us as we dish on motherhood, life's ups and downs, and all things pop culture that we know you want to talk about.
With special guests and expert insights, we're here to empower you through the chaos of everyday life.
Consider this your ultimate escape from the hustle and bustle. And as always, parental guidance suggested.
Camp is now in session.
Hello, welcome back to a very important pillow talk. Kendra and I just got back from my brother's wedding weekend, which was so fun. But when we were thinking about what we were going to talk about, I'm like,
We have to recap wedding, yeah.
So this is not going to be a recap of my brother's wedding, but I think just we're kind of not in the era of weddings right now anymore. We're more in the kid era. So to go back to weddings, and I feel like to go back to weddings older.
As a guest.
Not a bride. Now married.
Yeah.
Like there's some things that we can talk about being wedding guests. So this is all about
etiquette, do's and don'ts, our favorite things. Guest. Yes. Okay, great. I think the first thing I will say, just coming fresh out of your brother's wedding, I love a really intimate and emotional ceremony. And I will say that your brother's was the most intimate and the most like emotional I've ever been to. That was like the most beautiful thing in the world. But what I appreciated, and at first I was like, oh my God, who do they think they are? Was the no phones during the ceremony and having the officiant come out and say, Megan and Brendan kindly asked to fully be present. And with that comes no phones. And if you think about it, when you go to a wedding now, everybody is like this, phones up, and you just see a sea of heads with phones up.
Right.
And having that, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get a picture. And then I'm also like, wait, this, I don't need a picture of this. This is their moment. And being truly present was the best part of that entire wedding, in my opinion.
I agree. And we tried to do that for our wedding. I even had it written on my program. Like when you sit down for the ceremony, like no phones, please, no photography. We have hired a photographer. And in my wedding video, I'm coming down the aisle and it's like this.
Really? Phones?
Every single person. So
did you not have the officiant remind people? Or they just
No, because mine was like in the Catholic Church. And so I think they just like processed in and then just like the music was already playing. So there was no like announcement.
Okay.
I just put it in the program, assuming
people
everybody
were reading
would gather
it.
that.
Yeah, no, I think it needs to be said because
when
it was said and somebody's up there, you're like, okay, yes, like it was like
Understood.
a teacher understood. No, and if you did, then it would be very awkward that you were the person. So nobody had their. I don't know. You were walking down the aisle.
But
did anyone have their phone?
No,
like not one phone, right? I mean,
and I was actually prepped to like be getting a bunch of videos of my kids walking down the aisle, and nobody has sent me anything. So I guess that would mean
there is a
nobody had their phone.
Nobody had their phones out. There is a blessing and a curse to that because I know that like with these photographers and videographers, you have to wait sometimes.
So
she got a little teaser. Love that for her. But it's like a 3-month wait to get your pictures back. And like we are in the era of like, no, I want it right now.
Right.
AirDrop it to me now.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, like the bigger picture is your guests and you enjoying it and having such that special moment. I will say also, in just regards to your family's wedding, having her parents up and your parents up and praying over them and everybody, that was like, you would have acted like this was my sibling or like I was getting married. I was crying uncontrollably. Gus is like, you have to stop crying. I was like, I can't stop crying. Like,
no, it was so beautiful. And we did talk about it. Like the way that they include, like it really did feel like two families
merging,
getting married.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just about Brendan and Megan, which was so beautiful. And that's what I said. It's like one of my favorite things about her is the way that she does love our family and especially the way that she loves my parents because in-laws, that's not always the case. And like, you know, I had the view of Brendan and he was like bawling his eyes out, which like is so special to me because I'm like, I know him and he's so emotional, but like for everybody to see this side of him was so cool. But then I saw like Megan reach over and grab my mom's hand during it. And I'm like, God, that is like, like for my mom, I'm like, that is what I dream of with Miller. Totally. Like I want his wife to come over and grab my hand and be like, I love you as much as, so it was like, let's not cry again.
Very emotional. Yeah. But I will say normally when I go to a wedding, like, okay, like it's cute, like listening to the vows, especially if they write their own vows, like watching that. But you're like kind of like, yeah, when are we going to get to cocktail hour? When are we going to get to the
Thank you. Congratulations.
I would be fine if that ceremony went another hour. So I feel like as a guest, like making sure that you're following the rules of whatever the bride and groom have set forth for you is very important. No phones, whatever that may be. But just in regards to that wedding, like having the ceremony so well planned out. And it's like, you can't fake that. Like there was just so much love. It was so beautiful. Okay. So let's talk about like invites and no plus ones. Like if you get invited to a wedding and you don't get a plus one, are you going? I mean, you're married now. So like we are married now. It's different. But like if you're just dating somebody and you don't get a plus one.
Okay. I think this is one of the harder topics to discuss when it comes to weddings because people feel so passionately about whatever side that they're on. So for our wedding, it was kind of like a no ring, no bring situation.
No ring, no bring.
Yes.
Is that like a thing?
Yeah, unless you were engaged, because this is what becomes really hard in my opinion. And mind you guys, like I've gone to so many weddings. All my friends, like there was one point where we had 11 weddings from August through the end of the year in 1 year. Because you then become the judge of their relationship. Like, okay, well, they've been together 4 years, so she can bring him, but they've only been together for a year, so they can't bring. And I think it gets really
they've broken up and gotten back together.
Yeah. And it's like, so unless, and I was also in the position where like Drew and I had been dating for 4 years and like he wasn't invited. He wasn't invited to
You've been in that position.
Oh yeah. Like he wasn't invited to one of my cousin's weddings. And then like he proposed literally 5 months before and then he got invited. And I think it's just weddings are so expensive. You're paying per person. And at the end of the day, how I looked at it when I was planning is if you are broken up with this person in like 5 years, I'm going to be quite annoyed that like
forget 5 years, it could be 5 months after your wedding date that they were there.
We follow the like no ring, no bring.
Okay.
I don't think like my brother and them didn't follow that, which is like that.
Yeah, I was like thinking about the people that were there this past weekend.
No, it's like totally. And I think it changes, right? Because their friend group is a little older.
Yeah, it changes as you get older versus like when you're in your 20s. But I also think that like if you're in the wedding party and you're a bridesmaid and you've been asked to go to the bachelorette, do all of the things, buy your dress, what do you call that? Bridesmaid's dress.
Then you get a plus one.
Like you should be able,
I think
and
that's
it's a destination wedding. You should be able to get a plus one.
I think that's fair.
I do think it is that I am the judge. I'm sitting there in my gown or my cloak, whatever they wear, my robe.
Knock.
Knock, knock. I am judging. You don't get one. You get one. You get one. I don't like your boyfriend. You don't get to bring that.
Right.
I would be the judge.
I do think the bridal party is different. I will say like they are your people. They should be your bestest of friends where you're like, listen, sister, you can't get your life together or your dating life, but sure, bring your flavor of the week because you're here with me.
But if it's like your coworker that is dating this guy, like that's
like
different.
I mean, really anybody else. Like I think even if it's family or whatever. No, we are actually talking about this. Jordan got to bring Nick to my wedding. And she still says, like, I was so shocked you let me bring him. But I don't know why. I had like a weird feeling they were going to get married. And Jordan was so particular about who she dated. Like she never really dated until it was something serious. So
you knew that this was serious.
Yeah. Okay. And then Brendan got a plus one, but like I said, you could bring your friend, like a boy.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be in our life forever. Yeah. That's cute. I like that.
So more like that.
Okay. So speaking of who we're bringing, let's talk about adult only weddings.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yes. Right. I agree with you.
Only weddings. I even told my siblings, I'm like, honestly, thank God I was the oldest because I'm not sure I would have even asked your kids to walk down the aisle. Like, it's just too much.
Well, the problem is when kids are allowed at a wedding or anywhere, whether that's a dinner party, whatever we do with these children, it becomes all about the kids.
Right.
Like very easily. It's less about the couple, less about the adults, less about like, all the things with marriage. And it's all about these kids on the dance floor, these kids screaming down the aisle, the kids, like it's always just the kids. And partly because they're so cute that like they get so much attention.
Of course.
But that attention gets taken away from the bride and put on to the children.
Okay. So one of my biggest pet peeves with kids at a wedding, particularly a reception, is that dance floor is sacred, especially like at my brother's wedding.
Okay, oh my God. You put in so much work.
Okay. Like at my brother's wedding, we always do, which we did at both mine and my sister's, like where everybody, all the guests go to the dance floor first. Then we all are seated. That dance floor should not, after that, be touched by anybody while we're waiting for the couple to enter onto the dance floor. When little girls and boys are like on the dance floor, I'm like, get off. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I just think it should be sacred. We should be having this moment waiting for the couple to go on their dance floor and have their first dance for the first time.
And not be filled with like little lollipops in their hands of children.
No, absolutely not. And it's like, for me, the reception especially is a place where we're drinking and like being wild. It's a party. Like, I don't really think kids need to be there to see that.
I will say, like, before going to this weekend's wedding, like, if it was family, I'd be like, oh yeah, you bring your kids. Of course you bring your kids. Watching all of the children in this wedding get ushered away as they walk down the aisle. Some screamed, no, sorry. Your middle child screamed her head off. Others were in wagons being pulled. They had their moment. And then literally it was like a fleet of nannies came in, grabbed all the children, and then they left before the ceremony started. And I was like, oh my God, they don't get to watch. They don't care. They're not going to remember it. They don't want to watch.
Care.
And it made it so much nicer that it was like not a screaming child, I mean, you have a baby, a 2-month-old. Like, of course you expect her to cry, but it's like, that's a distraction, just like a phone is a distraction. Yes. So I will say, after experiencing that, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally understand the no kids at weddings.
Before we were all walking down the aisle and at rehearsal the day before, when we were talking to all of our nannies, mind you guys, we were laughing. We had like 6 nannies there, not for me, but like we had so many.
There's so many families.
There's so many little kids in our family. We said, like, you need to grab these kids and
immediately
run them out, because we did not want to ruin Megan's moment walking down the aisle.
It was so well done. It was like,
because I was like, if my kids are the ones screaming while she is trying to have that moment with her dad, I will not. I told Katie, I'm like, grab her so fast that you can't even look at me, and you are don't look back. I will send the rest of the kids with you, because I know my middle one is gonna scream. Like, it was like get and go so that the bride can have her moment.
No, I asked, I was like, so are the kids in the reception area? They're like, no, they're in the room getting room service. I'm like, all right. Yeah. That is how it's done.
Yes. No kids at the weddings.
And I think also for like the guests, like, well, first of all, if you bring a child, that child is a plate. And like, that is a very expensive seat.
Oh yeah.
Number one.
No.
Number two, it's like, you know, you're not enjoying yourselves as much as parents should be. So I do agree with the adult only weddings. Okay, now speaking that we actually got rid of the children and we're just focused on the bar, how do you feel about a cash bar?
Okay, weddings are expensive. There's a couple places where you should invest your money.
Oh yeah, totally. And music and alcohol.
And alcohol, I think, because then if you're
setting the tone.
Well, and also if you don't, you lose people, right? So like all this money that you spent on everything else, people are like, I don't care. I'm going to go to the hotel bar where I can drink it. It's like, invest in the
keeping
bar
your people there
and the band.
The bar and the band. Totally agree.
Keeping your people happy, you know,
dancing
and then enjoying everything else that you put, all the other decor.
Nobody cares about your flowers hanging from the ceiling if they don't have a drink in their hand.
If they don't have a drink in their hand and the band isn't playing good music.
Totally agree with that.
I understand though, like, obviously, there's certain budgets and not everybody can afford to do that. I do think there's a way to do it where you say, you know, open bar for 2 hours and then starting at, 8:00 cash bar, please. Yeah. Okay, great. People normally are so liquored up by that moment. They're like, here's my card.
Yeah. They're handing their cards even at an open bar.
Oh, tip. Yeah. Here's a big tip too.
Yeah,
but I do think that's an important part.
Well, and I do think it's important to tip the bartenders.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about destination weddings, which like even when we're talking destination, we're not just talking about like, you're traveling to Europe or Mexico, like out of the country, but even a drive, like any destination that you're not coming back to your house, that is a destination wedding. You need a hotel, like that is a destination wedding. And it's like people pan it off. I'm like, oh, but you're getting a vacation, like a vacation that I didn't pick in a place that I didn't pick.
With people I didn't
choose. Like, However, I do think that there is something added to the fact of like a destination wedding. You're doing a welcome dinner. You're doing an after brunch. Like there's just more to the party than just like a one-hit wonder of like, you're getting one night. But then it's like, okay, leads into I didn't get a +1. And I have to go on this said vacation by myself.
Right.
Oh, and I've spent thousands of dollars on the room and all of whether that's airfare, whatever it may be. And what did you want on your registry as well?
I forget it.
Which brings up another topic. But these weddings get very expensive. And if you're in the wedding, like as a bridesmaid, you're going to all of the things, buying all the outfits. And then with these bachelorette parties and bachelor parties, they want coordinating outfits. You needed to have neon for this day. You have to have blue for this day. You have to have pink in this. Like it's very bathing suits. Like it's very specific of what you're supposed to wear. So it is an investment to be in the wedding. It's an investment to go to the wedding. But I do think like a couple starting out, you buy either off the registry, preferably though for me, and especially like with Brendan and Megan, and I texted you like, I'm not buying off their registry. They're building their house right now and they're not in it right now. Like they want a bunch of things in your parents' garage. Send them money. Like I gave cash. That's what, if that was me, I'd be like, just give me cash.
Oh, that's all Brendan wants.
That's, well, good.
Brendan's like, Dad, enough with the flowers at this wedding. Just hand me over the cash. I'm building a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the wedding thing is so tricky because and I think it depends on your relationship to the couple. But like as a wedding guest, you kind of, I think you decide whether you're going and you're committing to the experience or not. Right.
Yes.
And so for like, I got married in LA, still had to stay at a hotel in LA or people could drive back, whatever. But we had a welcome party on Thursday and then rehearsal dinner and welcome drinks on Friday and then our wedding Saturday. So it certainly does make for more of a weekend, but also it's an expense to the couple to host you now Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh, for sure.
But you get to create like more of a party, but then also for you as the wedding guest, and you forget it's like, well, when you're not at your house, it's breakfast, it's coffee, it's, everything that you're leading up to it. So
no, you got that folio at the end of your stay.
I like, if I get one more email from the Ojai Valley Inn, it's going in the trash. I don't want to see any more of what I've charged to the room. Not one more croissant. But I think you just commit to the investment.
Yes.
So you have to know like, okay, look at your year. If it's your wedding, okay, we know we are committing to Kendra and Gus this year. Like,
you have to plan it.
Yeah,
you actually, it is. You budget it and you plan it, and then you
That's
also
the only way to do it. I mean, nobody
give them some cash.
Well,
write a check.
And it's like kind of the same thing that I say, like with us and the kids and giving presents. We're all just moving money around. Like it all comes back to you.
That is very true.
Here, you take it for the week. Okay, now you give it back.
It's a little loan.
It's just like, it's
totally
just going
totally
in the circle. I know.
It just kind of goes through our families. Okay, my most favorite thing to talk about is the dress code for a wedding. Oh my gosh.
You love a dress code if we're going to lunch, dinner.
I do.
I know.
I want a vision board and I want to be told a color palette.
Yes.
So I've always felt like I'm pretty in tune with my body, but as a mom, I realized I couldn't just keep guessing. I wanted to know what was really going on inside. That's why I joined Function Health, and it has completely shifted how I think about my health. Function gives you access to over 160 tests that look at everything: your hormones, your thyroid, your heart, your liver, inflammation, even toxins and nutrient levels. It's way more than just your standard checkup, which, by the way, only covers about 19 biomarkers. With Function, I finally got a full picture of my health, not just what's fine, but what could be optimized. One thing that's really stood out to me, I saw exactly how stress was impacting and why I've been feeling a little bit more drained and sluggish and fatigued than usual. It gave me a real insight about how I can start supporting myself better, especially in the nonstop season of motherhood. And Function doesn't just push supplements or prescriptions, it's clear, unbiased data so you can make an empowered decision. So it's $4.99 a year and it includes 2 full rounds of testing. These same tests could be up to $15,000 through traditional routes. And right now, you can get up to $100 off your membership by going to functionhealth.com/campchaos. But hurry, it's only the first 1,000 listeners. That's functionhealth.com/campchaos. Come take control of your health with me. I promise you will never regret it.
Okay, you've heard us rave about ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink. I have super exciting news. Their team just released another product to help get more fiber into your diet without changing what you eat. Fiber diversity supports a balanced gut microbiome, yet only 5% of Americans get enough fiber in their diet. If you're like me, it's probably because it's really hard to do. That's why I started using ZBiotics Sugar to Fiber probiotic drink mix every day. The PhD microbiologists over at ZBiotics understand that 95% of Americans don't get enough fiber. So they genetically engineered a probiotic drink mix called Sugar to Fiber. Sugar to Fiber turns sugar in the foods I
I eat into a prebiotic fiber called leave-in fiber. It's really hard to get leave-in from a typical diet, and it helps to improve the amount and diversity of fiber my body receives. I started drinking ZBiotics sugar to fiber because I like having a way to get closer to my daily recommended dose of fiber without needing to change my diet. It's super easy. Every day I just put a pack of sugar to fiber in my morning water, and I just love knowing I'm supporting my gut health with this routine. I think I've said it before, but gut health is super important to me, and we've talked about it on this podcast. That's why I'm adding ZBiotics sugar to fiber to my daily routine this summer. It's a really easy change to make, and it helps ensure that I'm getting the diversity of fiber my body needs. So go to zbiotics.com/camp and use code CAMP at checkout for 15% off any first-time orders of ZBiotics probiotics. ZBiotics has a 100% money-back guaranteed, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, which you won't be, they will refund your money, no questions asked. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode.
Okay, so when I got the invite, it was like, yes, black tie, done. Now, we are for this wedding that we're speaking of, we are in the month of May in Southern California at Ojai Valley Inn. So like, I'm already thinking like colors, vision, trying to get it. But I'm sending you gowns. I'm like, is this where we're going? Is this where we're going? Other people are sending pictures of I'm wearing full color. I'm wearing, more earth tones. I absolutely appreciate a dress code, not only black tie, cocktail hour or cocktail attire. I want color palette. Your Megan did not give it, which I know is like the nicer thing to do, but I prefer a color palette because I've shown up before at my friend's wedding in a like really bright yellow dress and everybody else was in earth tones. And like, it was same thing, May wedding in Napa. I'm like, I thought yellow was the vibe for the year. I stood out in all of her pictures and it literally still haunts me to this day. It's been 5 years.
Well, I think there's two parts to this because I think as a wedding guest, when you are getting a color palette from a bride, you're just like, oh, who does this chick think she is telling me what color to wear?
That'll be me. Yeah.
Of course,
will
that
be me.
will be you.
I act like, I'm not wearing my ring, but I act like I'm not married
but
yet.
for your 10-year wedding
my
anniversary,
7-year
we will be
one.
getting,
we have to do it before 10 years.
We will be getting
noted
sheets,
yes,
itineraries, colors to wear.
Yes,
of course.
Yes.
But I do think like when you look back at photos, like it would be so nice to have everybody in the same tone. I just think personally for me, like as a wedding
guest, thing you have to buy.
Yeah, I don't want you
to
tell me what color because
I already can't. I'll trust you.
Okay, well then you can RSVP no.
Just save me a postage.
Because I think it's like black tie. I'm already on the hunt for a gown. Long gown that looks good on me. I find a red one, and now you're telling me you want earth tones?
If you wore red to my wedding, I'd be like, what did she just do? Well, my mom. Okay, but wait, look. And then looking at the couple, like your brother and Megan, I think of them as like extra blingy, like totally. So like booby, like everything is out, like va va boom. I don't look at them as understated.
I don't
never
look at them as
muted,
understated.
Never. So I'm like, oh, I have a perfect gown. I show you the gown. I'm like, I cannot wear this. It'll be people are looking at you and not the bride. That's why I prefer to always be overdressed for events than underdressed. But then there's like a very clear tipping point of like you're overdressed and you're upstaging the bride wearing whatever you're wearing at a wedding.
Yes, agreed. But I think the way you handled it is like you matched the venue. Remember when you were like asking me, you're like, okay, I'm gonna, because I have no direction, like I'm gonna go with the Ojai vibe, which I think is always like a safe bet. So like for me, I was getting married at this big cathedral in downtown LA. Yeah. I feel like you have space to wear the dress that you wanted to wear. Like that would have been perfect for my wedding.
It's just literally the first thing you said. You're like, that would have been great for my wedding. Can we go back and do that again? Okay. Assigned seatings, you need them. And my husband's Palestinian and like Arabic cultures, you just invite the family and everybody shows up. It's like a banquet hall and there's thousands of people and they just sit wherever. That is a different cultural. But I think in my preference would be to have an assigned seating.
Well, I also think assigned seating, not just assigned table, but actual assigned seating. Because some weddings you go and you're like, oh, you're at table 8, take a seat wherever you want.
Yeah.
I think you just tell guests where to sit.
Yes,
it's like cut out all the awkwardness. Cut 100%. Out like, was someone sitting here? Have you taken this spot? Or,
no.
You sit here, you sit here, you sit here.
Yeah. Speeches that go off the rails. I did think the speeches were all really cute and very well thought out. I thought Austin did an incredible job, your brother. But the ones that get like the people have had a little bit too much to drink and they're telling stories of like nobody cares about these stories of these inside jokes of the two of you. This is going way back. Like we are talking about childhood, like not like a little funny story here and there is super cute. Those speeches were all wonderful. But some of these just get like when the crowd is getting louder than the person with the microphone, you know it's time to cut it.
It's time to cut it. So this is like literally we could talk about it in a whole other episode, but speeches are very important to me, especially at a wedding, because at the end of the day, like, yes, we're throwing a party, but like this is about you learning about the couple and you getting to know them and appreciate them and be like, wow, I'm celebrating your marriage and this is so cool and I'm so happy for you. And I think the speeches tell that story. Yeah. So like when we're helping, talking to Austin and going through like.
Did everybody review his?
Oh, yeah. Well, not my brother. Not
well,
Brendan.
I did say to Austin, I said, you did a very good job. And he's like, I worked so hard on it.
He really did.
Yeah.
He worked
He took it
so
seriously
hard on it. And I said, like, I think the three or like the two most important things that you want to do is like you want to bring humor, right? You need everybody laughing, but you want to bring emotion too.
And at the end of the day, it's between like him and his brother.
So I said, like, you kind of go chronologically through his life, inserting humor, emotion, kind of like through the whole thing. And
God, you have gone to a lot.
His friends who he brought with him to the wedding, like when Austin was done, his friend's name is Austin too. Austin was like, oh my God, Taylor, Austin did so good. Like it was so funny, but it was so emotional. And I'm like, Austin, thank you. That is like exactly, I think the two most important things, funny, emotional, and like leave people wanting more. Yeah. You don't want like, okay, are we done with the stories yet?
You don't want people getting up, walking to the bar of like, oh my God, I need a drink. This is a lot.
Austin was so worried about that. He's like, my speech is 7 minutes long. He's like, I need to streamline it. I'm like, it is so streamlined already. Yeah. I said, you've known Brendan.
It didn't feel 7 minutes.
His whole life.
Very long.
Right?
Yeah,
and
it did not
feel long.
And he did a really good job.
I said, my speech at Jordan's was 10 minutes. You didn't feel like that. I'm like, if you deliver it correctly, the stories are concise enough where you're like, oh, cute, funny. Oh, we're already on to the next story. Yes. Like leave them wanting more. It just takes a lot of practice, but I think speeches are important, and there's nothing worse than a drunk maid of honor or
absolutely
best man.
not, or the one that's like crying too much that you can't even get through it. Like
no, that's when you're like
you need to practice this. Yes,
throw the hook.
Yeah,
yank
get the drums going. And
get
boom, the tambourine. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the DJ and the tambourine and the band. I think the most important thing as a wedding guest, I don't care if you're a dancer, I don't care if you're a partier, you are going and you have an assignment to deliver that you need to be on that dance floor. You need to be having a good time. You don't go off into like a different area. Like you need to be there. They've invested so much time, money, emotions. You stay there and you stay to party.
That is the most important thing as a wedding guest.
I truly believe that.
If you didn't see us this weekend, that is what we
understood the assignment. Well, you especially. I looked at you and the band took a break. You're like, I got to go take a break. I'm like, are you going to go pump? You're like, they take a break. I take a break. They come back. I come back. And you took that so seriously. I'm like, girlfriend. And your dad did too. Your whole family. I mean, you guys really, and I love a wedding. My husband loves a wedding even more than I do. But I just feel like the people that are off doing like weird, I don't know where you are, get your ass on this dance floor and you perform. You're here to perform.
This is why we are here. And we do that not
your
just
friends delivered. All of your invites delivered.
Thank you very much. The next day when I was so sore in my back, I said, me and my friends had this whole damn wedding on our back because we did not leave that dance floor.
We did not. We had the most children.
We even did an encore.
We did an encore. Single-handedly carried that wedding on Gus's lungs and your feet. No, but I honestly, not only that was like so much fun for us, but like even the people that were like older and like they moved seats and they were coming to the tables closer just to watch, like being still a part of it. I think that is so important as a wedding guest because it's showing I'm showing up for you. I care about you. I care about all the stuff that you put into this wedding and I'm here to watch it through the end.
And like the couple wants to dance at their wedding. They don't want to go chit chat with you at the tables and whatever. So you support them by being on that dance floor. Yeah. Not a song you don't like, figure it out. Go get a margarita and you come right back and you are partying until your feet are going to fall off.
100%. If you need extra shoes, find somewhere to put your extra shoes.
Bring your Amazon flats, put them under the table in the purse.
Kidding. Like whatever you got to do to survive. Comes with that is also knowing when to leave because I will tell you, we were like at 12 o'clock, band was literally packing away. Gus was still singing. Great. Love that. And then I think it was Lana, one of the bridesmaids, is like, come to the after party. We're all going to Megan and Brendan's. And I'm looking at Gus and I'm like, you are not going anywhere. You are going to bed. You are going to the room. You've had enough of this fun. And she's like, please come. Please come. Debbie and Mike are coming. Please come. And part of me, I was like, I want to go. I had no place being in that room. Know when it's time to step away and let the bride and groom have their fun with their groom's party and their family and then go to bed.
Yes. I mean, we are like a big after party family.
I know, but there's a time and place for that. And like, if you're not in the bridal party, you are not invited for that after party. But after party.
I would just like to say that I really don't think that there should be an after party. Like, truly nothing good is happening there. I mean, I went for 15 minutes because I had my nanny for 15 more minutes. So we literally walked straight from the venue to the room.
Yeah. I mean, it was their room. It wasn't like another venue.
Packed. It was packed. 50
I saw
people.
The pictures.
There was so much champagne
I'm so glad
in
you
there.
didn't see me there.
I was wondering if you were going to come in. But everybody, that part always makes everybody feel like shit the next day.
Yeah.
Like, you're already going to feel like shit when you leave the wedding. Don't continue till 3 a.m. drinking things you don't need to be drank. And then everyone gets comfortable. So everyone's changing into their aloe sweats and all these things. And then you're like, oh God, you're staying till 4 a.m. You're staying. No.
Let them go to sleep.
I think just as much as you want to continue the party,
know when to leave.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. That kind of wraps. Speaking of wrapping it up, we will, if you're interested in inviting us to your wedding, we will send you our P.O. box.
Send us the color palette.
Not bring our children. Yes, color palettes are preferred.
We will RSVP and we will buy you wedding gifts with no phones at your ceremony.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I'll just send you a Venmo. Mm-hmm. Or Zelle, whatever you prefer.
So we are
wedding
available.
Season is upon us.
So call your girls.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Camp Chaos. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our show. Connect with us on social media at Camp Chaos Podcast. Until next time, campers.